Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Dade County, Florida, at a Homestead Miami Speedway, where we crown a champion this evening with the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Speedway Series. Up in the LSRTV broadcast booth alongside myself, Evan Pasoko, PDJ Zeller, and our executive producer pushing the buttons and getting us on air this evening is Laura Lawson. PD, it's a season that started in Talladega, the Phoenix, Atlanta, Kansas, Dover, Gateway, Daytona, Vegas, Chicago, and Charlotte. But tonight, round 12 is where we crown a championship. Just one race remains on this campaign, a series that runs every week almost with the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Series. And we got it live this evening where Pedro Mojica, right now the dominant car in practice, the dominant car in qualifying, hopes to wrap up what's been a dominating season. 4 wins so far, and he enters with 26 points over Chad Coleman. Coleman right now a top 10 car. Not impossible for Mojica to lose the championship, but it would take a major blow to the 01 camp.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 26 trucks in this race. There's going to have to be a lot going wrong for the Mojica camp. And man, what a season for Pedro, though, in his 01 machine. I mean, that truck has had a run, let me tell you. He's won 4 races. I mean, that JDR graphics machine has really, really been impressive, making some big statements here, and he's going to try to close it all out tonight, and I assume probably dominating fashion. I wouldn't be too surprised if he ended up, like, winning this race. This is definitely within the realm of possibilities for him. But Chad Coleman, I mean, he knows he has to win this race if he wants to win the championship, so I'm sure he'll be giving it all in his Red Bull machine.
And qualifying coming to a close after a 1-hour practice session, a 10-minute open qualifier session that allowed all of up to 26 rather, to get out there, put a time down. The field is set for this evening's Midnight Thunder finale, 75 from Homestead, Miami, to crown a champion. Let's let you know where they stack up with the LSRTV grid order. Pole position, we talked about it, the JDR Graphics number 01 Toyota Tundra, Pedro Mojica with a 33.108, nearly 3/10 faster than the fastest lap anybody put down in practice, which, by the way, was him as well. He'll sit on pole position alongside the number 72 car, Harrison Weilitz, in second.
Third to Dwayne Vincent, number 13, obviously a very prevalent driver within the RSR leagues. And fourth tonight will be J.D. Laird in his number 23.
A lot of drivers with names familiar from the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup, as well as Asphalt Assault and Outlaw Trucks here. Anthony DeBarro in the Race Chaser Online Chevrolet will roll from 5th position and 6th position to the number 26 car. That's Stefan Marinak.
7th night will be going to the number 17 of Tanner Stoops. 8th will be another familiar driver, the number 10 of John Abbott.
Inside on row number 5, going to go to the number 86 of Stevie Minson. Chad Coleman, the challenger in the championship, still in the top 10, but it's an uphill battle for the Red Bull number 6. He's P10.
Scott Simley in the number 68 from 11th. 55 of Richard Beasley will start from 12th.
Joshua Chin going to roll the number 79 machine. That's the Cannon entry from P13. Alongside him, EJ O'Rourke, the number 50, slated to roll from 14th.
15th night will go to Robert David Ballantyne, and 16th night will go to the number 7 of Cody Gibson.
Harold Strayer in the number 39 DIYSim.com entry in 17th. Jason Pick will roll from 18th in the 53 car.
And in 19th night will go to the number 03 of David W. Gibson. 20th night will go to the 66 of Brian Harvey.
And those are all the drivers that put down a time in qualifying. Now to the drivers on provisionals. It's a bright pink, rather, with a nice green color there on the font. The number 28 of Paul Cooper in 21st. 22nd to the Fastenal entry of William Kemp.
23rd night will go to Ed Williams Jr. in his number 65, and in 24th will be Jason L. Swan in the number 18. GTR machine making contact on pit road with number 15 of Darren Brooks. He got right into him there. Already contact before the race started.
And then rounding out this field, 13 rows deep, P25 from the tower to the racetrack, the Kellogg's number 98 Chevrolet Silverado of Stephen Herring, and Darren Brooks will round out our field. Drivers electing to start on the pit lane. One of them, the number 10 of John Abbott. He'll give up the number 8 starting position to start for the pit lane. That means everybody on the inside from 8th on, or rather on the outside from 8th on back, get a slide parole. It's good news for Chad Coleman. He'll technically be starting in 8th for this one. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV for not only the second part of our Friday night, or technically Saturday early morning for our East Coast viewers doubleheader, but as well for a special event. It's Midnight Thunder Speedway Series, a championship in the balance. And we're glad to have you with us. Green flag flies from the Homestead Miami Speedway, and a dominant car all season, trying to put a staple on the end of this one and walk away and make everybody's job easier. Only have one victory lane this afternoon. He's looking to do it, and he leads that JDR Graphics Toyota Tundra off to quarter 2 in the lead. The top 2 single file, they fight for 3rd.
Side by side for 3rd they are. Dwayne Vincent versus number 23 of J.D. Laird. Laird on the outside trying to hang on to that one. He's getting a really good run through the corner, but it will stall out. He goes up high, will fall back to 5th. So J.D. Laird with a poor start early, falling back one position. Single file they get now is number 6 Chad Coleman trying to make some moves early. He's going to have to. He's up to 7th. Already knocked on the door of 6th of Anthony DeBarro. DeBarro right in front of him with that Boomtown Sim Racing machine, really considering making a move there. I have to believe that number 6, he needs to make a bunch of them real quick here, as all these guys continue to race throughout this field. First side-by-side I'm seeing between David W. Gibson and Darren Brooks towards the back. Actually, now Paul Cooper is going side-by-side as we go on board with DeBarro.
On board with that Race Chaser Online Boomtown Sim Chevy, you look up to number 26, the Mach 1 graphics car in front of him of Stefan Marinak, who is all over the back bumper of the Napa Auto Parts J.D. Laird entry. That number 13 car has his name on the top of the car that's in the lead. The J.D. graphics car still leads. Harrison Weidlitz, though, just now signing on. He'll be driving a full-time ride along with 8 new drivers on Monday evenings for the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. That's Swan Racing, the iRacing extension of that team. His car sits 2nd right now, and he's trailing that car at the top of this. The 55 truck now having some sort of issue.
55 of Richard Beasley and Josh Chin just had some contacts on both of the racetrack. Luckily, they both kept out of the wall. That could have got real sketchy there for both of them, but they're all going to hang on and continue to battle it out here. That was almost a real unfortunate situation for him. So they're going to continue on racing here as they're now side by side for 15th between Robert Ballantyne and Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson on the outside in the Easy Go machine trying to hold on to that one. He is doing a fine job up there. Just a lot of good side-by-side racing from the really known for good side-by-side racing speedway of Homestead, Miami, as Cody Gibson will win that battle. Now a little bit more relevant up here, side-by-side between Stefan Marinak and Anthony DeBarro. DeBarro is going to try to take that position. This will really open the door for Chad Coleman as Marinak gets really loose right in front of him.
Stefan Marinak in that Mach 1 graphics car on the outside, the 46 to the inside. Anthony DeBarro, and not only is the 46 going to try to do something there, but he's going to bring company with him. Chad Coleman trying to follow through, and Marinak finds himself on the outside with not a lot of help, but a car that doesn't really want to keep her down. The back end of that car stepping out a little bit as they come off a quarter 4. He hopes to get in line in front of the number 86, or 26 rather, and he is able to. No, it is the 86 of Steven Minson, so that car actually cutting him a break a little bit, allowing Stefan in line, but has to stop the bleeding, does lose 2 spots. In the process of that fight, the top 3, we'll call it the top 4, J.D. Laird hanging on barely in that number 4 spot as far as this top 3 breakaway goes. Pedro Mojica got off to a great start. These guys, though, have the ability to use the draft in these new iRacing trucks. Very momentum-based vehicles. 72 trailing in the line at the 01, 13 right behind him. Weidlitz getting nice and close, but again, unless Chad Coleman can do anything by 20-plus spots, Mojica just riding out here trying to put another staple on the end of this. If he wins, it would be the 5th checkered flag on the year for him. Only other driver to have multiple wins so far is Joshua Chin with 2. Chad Coleman has 1 to his own name, but again, 26 points separate the top 2 on the championship entering tonight, and so far it looks like that gap only going to continue to grow. You talk about Homestead, Petey. You said that it is a track that is known for side-by-side racing. It's really one of the only 1.5-mile ovals. It's not a tri-oval, not a quad oval. You got a straight back stretch and a straight front stretch, making the racing here unique compared to anywhere else. The banking stacks up at what's going to be 18 to 20 degrees progressive, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Stevie Minson just picked up a position there. Stevie Minson, always a good driver to see. One of the oldest drivers in sim racing, not age-wise, but been around-wise. He's been around since the first NASCAR simulator has been racing. I mean, if you want to talk about sim racers, he was around for the golden age of NR 2003, the golden age of iRacing. I mean, he has been around, done it all, seen that, and he is here racing tonight. I mean, just a very, very seasoned driver here as he currently runs the 7th behind Anthony DeBarro. And the 6th. The 6th gets to Anthony DeBarro. Anthony DeBarro going around. He's going to have to whip it to the inside wall. Hard hit from the rear for Anthony DeBarro. No caution. He's off the track. He's going to have to get it going again. No one's going to be driving by him now, so no caution will come out, I presume. And, well, the 46th of DeBarro went around with help from a guy trying to... I mean, Chad Coleman has to make moves. I'm sure it's not how he wanted to do it, but, well, he got another position.
Yeah, that wasn't a move by the 6. It was rather the 46 get loose in front of him, and there was nowhere for Chad Coleman to go. DeBarro gets turned out of line, almost kept it out of the inside wall. You said he backed it into it, and the back end of that Boomtown sim machine, you can see it is all torn up as he keeps on going. He'll maintain what is still a lead lap position as they go right now. So will John Abbott. A lot of the time we'll see cars start from pit lane. They'll fall off at the lead lap very quickly. That 10 machine of John Abbott sprinted up in P8. The start from his stall is 26th right now, 20 seconds off the top spot, still on the lead lap, and still in good contention for if we see a caution flag to get back out there. We talk about 75 laps on tap for this race, already past 10 laps now. This race really going when you talk about lap times, about 33 seconds and change when you're looking at the kind of tire wear that we're working with right now, PD. Pit lane is very interesting here as well. We got to take an access road in 3 and 4, an access road back out onto the track in 1 and 2. It's not uncommon to overshoot those a little bit and spin out, and cautions, you know, we talk about how, you know, challenging those are and, you know, how tough they are on teams under caution flag, or rather green flag pit cycles, because caution flags, you get stuck a lap down. At this track especially, those are amplified.
As it is, as Tanner Stoops just took a position from Stevie Minson for 6th, as now Stoops is going to move up there, and while top 3 have really broke away, I mean, Mojica, Weidleitz, and Vincent have really pulled away from the field as those 3 Chevrolets looking stout right now, really pulling away from J.D. Laird. Laird falling back a little ways, so these 3 sticking right with each other here as now Chad Coleman leads the secondary pack. That includes Stoops and Minson. Just a whole lot of racing going on now as now Stoops gets right up to the bumper of that number 6 of Chad Coleman. Tanner Stoops in this Toyota Care machine, kind of looking a lot like Timothy Peters' truck, trying to make it happen, gets a little bit loose off the corner, goes up the racetrack, and we'll see if he can make some moves here in a few laps. Remember, there's a whole lot of time left in this race, 75 laps, a lot of time to make some moves, but in all reality, it is kind of a short race as now here comes Stoops to the inside of Chad Coleman, who's slipping up the racetrack, both those trucks sideways off the corner, both going to hang on to it, allows Minson to catch right back up to him, as now Chad Coleman is just really left to fight for whatever he can here. It does not appear as Mojica is going to have too many issues here, Evan. I mean, he is looking pretty stout this race, though we're going to have a battle for the lead because he gets loose off the corner. The 72 is going to get right up to his bumper. Weidleitz to the inside, side by side for the lead. First time Mojica's been challenged tonight, as Weidleitz is going to try to take that spot over to the inside. He is battling with Mojica, almost slides up into him. Good side by side Homestead Miami racing here. It's going to be down to the wire here this time by the stripe, but it is going to be Mojica with a man run off turn 4. Good race for the lead.
Yeah, Harrison Weidleitz on the inside got there, but again, just trying to give it a little bit more wheel with sideways. They are on each other's door in corner number 1 and 2. The 72 way sideways to the point where he's into the inside wall almost, hangs on after that car was 15 degrees to the inside of retaining wall, hangs on to it. However, he'll lose the number 2 spot. Dwayne Vincent going to cycle up and around and make the pass on the outside, and Weidleitz will have to settle for 3rd right now, but that shows that Pedro Mojica, that preferred lane locked down. He's sideways enough where you want to drive it. When you're on the inside, you take it in the air, take it off at the front of that. It is that much more difficult, and Weidleitz again has to settle for sliding to 3rd. The top 3, though, continuing to run away. J.D. Laird was kind of part of this lead breakaway, started 4th. That's where he sits right now. However, remains 1.3 seconds off of that lead group. Biggest mover so far, a driver that's under attack. He's doing good to this point, PD. Started 10th, is 5th right now. Chad Coleman slowly getting the job done. However, 2 issues with that. Number 1, he is 2.6 seconds off of the top spot. And number 2, Tanner Stoops pushed him into quarter 1. The 17 and the 86 are hungry, and they're trying to get to the bottom.
Yeah, they're trying to get to the bottom here, and Evan, really good racing going on at the moment, but man, these guys are all trying to just figure out, oh, problems in the back. John Abbott just swooped low in the back stretch. Oh, that was actually the front stretch there, Evan.
Yeah, 10 car, we talked about how he was on the lead lap, had a little bit of issues there. He has no issues. He's still going down in corners 1 and 2, but the 10 machine doing all right as we run right now. One driver has parked it so far in this event. William Kempf took that car down to the pit lane. They put it up on the jack and elected to roll it behind the wall, so a premature end to the 09. Other than that, everybody through Anthony DeBarro with the 46 again after that incident with no yellow stays on the lead lap back in 25th spot. Everybody, with the exclusion of Kemp, is still out there on the racetrack. So we saw Weidlitz try it. That didn't work. Can Dwayne Vincent do something in that Napa Auto Parts machine? He assumes second, and he's the next guy that, if he wants to, will be able to take a stab at that JDR graphics machine of Pedro Mojica.
Mojica out front right now, and great job for him, man. He is really looking stout in this one, right in front of Dwayne Vincent here. Vincent right up to his bumper now as these top three get closer to each other, but very, very good racing at this point in time in the event. Gotta really expect some more as we go on board with Dwayne Vincent now in that number 13 machine. He is looking to make up a couple of spots here, man. I mean, he wants to get up to the lead here. Dwayne Vincent obviously irrelevant for the championship, but not irrelevant to get up there and contend for a win. And man, he would want to end the season on a good note, possibly heading into the next season. Mojica's going to go a little high off the corner. Nothing, no harm, no foul there. And Evan, Mojica's one of them guys that, although RSR does have all 4 of its series, it appears as though his dominance truly shows mostly in Midnight Thunder rather than any other series.
Yeah, he's picked his championship to run for, and he has done it successfully. Only the top 3 drivers in the championship standings have started all 11 races so far in the season. It's Pedro Mojica, Chad Coleman, and Jason Swan. Jason Swan not out on track tonight, as actually he is. He's back in 18th position, slowly making up some ground in his Toyota Tundra. He's actually up 6th, didn't catch him because there was a no time put down in qualifying. Swan is out there, so it's only going to be those 3 that compete in every single event, but it's a tale of 2 different songs when you talk about those 3 drivers. Mojica started 11. He sits 451 points entering this. Chad Coleman, 26 back. But Jason Swan, who started the same amount of races as both of them, 104 back. The big difference is Pedro Mojica, 4 wins, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Chad Coleman, only 1 win, but 9 top 5s and 9 top 10s. Jason Swan only sitting with a max of 2 top 10s. So although Mojica, although Coleman quite close, they've kind of taken different roads getting here. Mojica likes the max point stays, and Coleman, a very consistent driver, which is what he's doing right now. He has slid back to 7th, though, after Stevie Minson and Tanner Stoops both have been able to pass him.
Yes, we've slipping back a little ways, and no harm, no foul there, as all these guys still out there on the racetrack. All, well, 25 out of the 26 trucks started the race are out there racing. All of them are on the lead lap. 53 pitting right now. That's Jason Pick. He is might be making a scheduled stop. Don't see any damage on that Texas machine, so he'll be coming down pit road. Is now still out front. These top 3 are pulled away from each other a little bit. Now here comes J.D. Laird from 4th. Evan, this is just the start of the green flag pit stops as E.J. O'Rourke will come down. And, well, the floodgates are going to start opening as the truck way loose off of turn number 2. That's the number 39 of Harold Strayer. He is going to hang on to it. That was almost sketchy there. But green flag pit stops are starting here from Homestead, Miami. Expect this to be the only stop of the night unless we see cautions. Oh, car spinning on the pit road. E.J. O'Rourke spun on the pit road, but he's in pit road. No caution.
Talked about how it is a very difficult pit lane. The gmercer.com machine coming into the pit road locked him up almost after he overshot the access road down in 3 and 4. This happens more times than you would think. And he went out on the apron and then overdrove it back in, hitting more grass, and that was just a very bad, when it rains it pours, for that number 50 Camp PD. I have seen in the past an RSR championship 2 years ago, 2 drivers in the championship, similar situation to Pedro Mojica and Chad Coleman. Get this, a lap car was exiting the pit lane, spun on the access road, took them both out in one swing of the bat. Now, thankfully for them, if any sort of resolution, is that the car third in points was too far back. At Homestead, those access roads can get you, and they got to work that time.
Yeah, and exiting, I think, is more hard than entering here. Well, car on the outside wall, it's Harold Strayer. He is going to hang on to it. That was almost really bad for him. That machine, I think, has a tire going down or something. The 39 of Harold Strayer there with bad issues in the outside wall. He's going to be coming down pit road this time. Does not want to deal with his obviously rough car any longer, so he's going to come down pit road. Now we see this time by Mojica is expected to come down pit road as he's going to go down that inside line, find the access road. All the top 2 are coming down, maybe top 3. All the top 3 will now be on pit road as Mojica will lead him down. And well, if he doesn't make any mistakes, this race should be pretty easy for him for this point on.
This is interesting. The top 2 come down. It's Stevie Minson who stays out from 3rd to go to the top spot. Now Mojica pits. Chad Coleman does not. The 6 needs to find an upper hand on the 01. Typically, if you pit first, you're going to get fresher tires first, and it's going to work out a lot better for you. Chad Coleman may be banking on a yellow because he stays out. Meanwhile, Pedro Mojica into his pit stall. Right side tires up on a number 01 car, the JDR graphics machine getting service. Left side tires up as well. They filled it full of Sunoco racing fuel. He has gone a 14.4 on that stop. Chad Coleman to the top spot. He will pass Mojica down on the bottom. Now, Petey, if he does not get a yellow, this is really a Hail Mary, because if he doesn't get a yellow, he is going to lose so much time, even if he pits right now, from running these 2 laps on old tires. It looks like he is going to duck it down this time. 2 laps on old tires, although they're only 25, it'll cost you a couple of tenths. Mojica back out. We'll have to see where they balance. Chad Coleman trying to play some sort of strategy, trying to find anything he can to try to snag that championship.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably could have stayed out for a long time, like extremely long time, but he's come down pit road. Side by side, though, as we go on board with Coleman here, and you get to see everything from Coleman's perspective as he comes down and off pit road, and you'll get to see the difficulties he may struggle with on pit road here. As things cycled out, interesting scenario. Pedro Mojica came out right behind Wide Leads, and Wide Leads is actually going to cycle through to the leader once everyone comes down pit road. So that's a pretty interesting scenario we're dealing with here, and that will certainly play a role in Mojica's job to win this race, although Mojica is really catching right back up to him, and I think Mojica is just going to try to pass him here in turn number 1. Mojica dives to the inside, or he thinks about it, will not do so here as they are going to continue to race for it. Those 2 and them beautiful looking trucks just gonna have a good battle for the lead. They're pretty good and ahead of JD Laird right now as they continue to pick up more and more spots.
Chad Coleman is just now exiting the access road down in corner number 2. The strategy gamble does not work. Coming down to the pit lane comes Ed Williams Jr. Now he's already back out. David Gibson cycled to the top spot. His number 03 machine is back down to the pit lane, and as we continue to cycle through, Stephen Herring goes to the point, but it is Pedro Mojica who continues to lead over his counterpart in the championship, Chad Coleman. The Swan Racing car, Harrison Widelitz to the top spot at Homestead in Miami, will step away as we're past the 1/3 distance in this evening's Midnight Thunder finale in Miami-Dade County, Florida. It is the 72 who will cycle to the lead, but right now the 98, the 65, the 10, and the 03 will go LSRTV side by side under this commercial.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago with my dad.
Contact made, 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month with some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, it's what I do best.
Back live and still clean and green at the Homestead of Miami Speedway with the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Speedway Series finale, round 12. Dade County, Florida continues. Pedro Mojica has returned to the top spot after getting back around Harrison Widelitz on a cycle of the green flag pit stops. He leads when he's looking for his 5th checkered flag in only 12 races on this series campaign. He enters, though, on the defensive, and they say the best defense is a good offense. Can't lose points if you get a max points night. That's exactly what he's trying to do now. Chad Coleman, though, continuing to struggle.
Laird just got punted during turn 3. I honestly thought that machine was going around. I have no idea how he saved it. The 17 got right up behind him there, the 23. As you guys are going to see the replay there, he did a great job drifting that thing and saving it through turns 3 and 4, chased it all the way up the racetrack. Good job on his part there. Tanner Stoops was trying to send him for a wild ride there, but no, as we look right now, Mojica and Widelitz have been battling like they have been the whole race. Good top 2. I mean, everything right now just calm, cool, and collected as it has been for a majority of the event. As we're a little bit past halfway, we're looking towards what should be, as long as Mojica doesn't have any major issues, good race to cap the season here in the RSR. He's not saying he's going to win it, but I'm saying this championship is well at hand for Mojica unless he has a very costly error.
And that was a close call, and although he does lose the spot, J.D. Laird still on track in the Toyota certified number 23 Tundra, back to P5 now after running in 4th for the longest time. So Tanner Stoops goes up to P4. He started 7th, so that car out of move. He's passed 2 people so far, and he's up to 4th position as they run right now. However, Chad Coleman getting 1 spot back, which is progress. He passes the 79 Canon entry of Joshua Chin, but he's still 7th. Again, 19 trucks on the lead lap, a whole handful of them racing for the lucky dog right now. That goes to Anthony DeBarro in the 46 rather. Behind them, though, Ed Williams Jr., Stephen Herring, E.J. O'Rourke, Harold Schrayer, and Jason Swan are the cars that are off the lead lap, still on track. With only 19 on the lead lap and Coleman having to make up 26 points, he needs something to happen to Mojica fast, and he needs something to happen to his truck to get it flat flying if he wants any hopes. This time by, we're already past the halfway point. Let's give you the LSRTV mid-race break and give you a full field rundown. Pedro Mojica leads exactly from where he started, up top the pole position. He runs in 1st right now. Harrison Widelitz started 2nd. He's 2nd as well. Wayne Vincent started in 3rd. He stops in third right now on the podium and been exactly where they sit all night long. Fourth position, Tanner Stoops. He's up 3. The 4th-place car at the start, J.D. Laird, he slid back to 5th position. 6th and up 3 is Stevie Minson. Chad Coleman, though, struggling to find speed in the Red Bull number 6. He's still 3 in the positive, but sits 7th position. 8th and up 5 is Joshua Chin. Up 2 spots in 9th is Scott Simley. And Paul Nicholas Cooper in P10. How about that? Up 11 spots to sit where he is right now.
Yeah, in 11th right now, Stefan Marinek. In 12th, Robert Valentine. And, you know, the surprising thing about Robert Valentine is that 69 machine, you know, you think a series that runs at midnight would have a lot of guys from foreign countries, as time would probably work better for them. No, everyone here is from America except Robert Valentine, who's from Canada. So, I mean, for the most part, not a whole lot of, like, outsiders coming into this, as we have in 13th, Richard Beasley in the 55. In 14th will be Cody Gibson in the number 7. 15th to Brian Harvey in the number 66. 16th to Jason Pick in the number 53. 17th to John Abbott, number 10. 18th to David Gibson in the 03. 19th.
Oh, big rack!
And
trouble.
oh man,
the 15 of Darren Brooks, huge impact into the outside wall, right in front of our leaders. They snake by, but the 15 with a self-inflicted error was letting our leaders by. And we'll work on getting the replay up. But that DIYSim.com machine up on the high side at a 2 on lap 43. Gets in the fence, letting the leaders go by, and has to yank it off because that truck gets stuck on the fence. As soon as he does so, he comes down, and Anthony DeBarro nearly gets taken out. Replay up, he goes back out. Huge impact into the outside wall, right in front of Dwayne Vincent and company. And just like that, past the halfway point, caution flag flies, and this race is going to be very different from here on out. Inside 30 to go. Looks like Mojica's heading pit lane.
Yeah, he's heading to pit lane here, and man, Mojica looks as though he had the race at hand. Now he's going to have to deal with this cycle of pit stops. How will this work out for him? Will Chad Coleman do some very daring strategy? We will see. So here he comes down pit road, number 01 of Pedro Mojica, followed by Harrison White, and these two looking to really make it. I'm out on and off pit road first and second here, as these guys have really had a good showing up to this point in the event. Started first and second, still running first and second, and it's really same 1, 2, 3 that we started with. And I mean, not a whole lot has changed whatsoever in this one. If Laird hadn't had his issues, it would be the same top 4 that we started with. Almost identical pit stops here for the top 2 that Jack's dropped at the same time. First off pit road is Pedro Mojica, second is Wide Leeds, third is gonna be Laird by about a nose, 4th Stoops, 5th Minson, 6th Vincent, 7th Cole, and all from there on out, just a whole lot of, you know, trouble at the bottom of the top 10 there. But yeah, mostly everyone came out where they came in until you really got some mess up there on the number 13s on.
And Mojica proving that having that number 1 pit stall pays so crucial and pays dividends because, again, Harrison Wilet's maybe with a little bit of a better entry because although the pit stops are pretty much the same all the time, you will get a little bit of a break on your total pit stop time depending on how well you enter your stall as far as where you stop in relation to the center of the box. It's not a huge difference, but Wilet's did a really good job, and Mojica using that number 1 pit stall to his advantage leads us back out, and he'll continue to ride at the top spot. Now the lap car is going to take their swing at the pit lane. EJ O'Rourke and Ed Williams Jr. going to elect to not come down pit road. The 50 and the 65 are going to now get back to the lead lap. They will get a wave by when we do get the 1 to go, as well as Jason Swan. That car now 5 laps down. The GTR Simulator Toyota Tundra doing the same game plan. He'll get a wave around as well, but it is still Mojica in the lead. David Gibson scored 3rd. He'll come down pit road this time after maybe thinking about staying out to get some bonus points. Nothing going to come from that, and he'll cycle back around to the rear of the field. So everything kind of resets, and well, if the 01 was able to do it with a pit stop in there as well and dominate for 40 laps, I'm sure he can do it to what would just be 25 more or so when we go back green flag racing. We have seen these trucks have been very loose. All it takes is it to snap just once, and things will go downhill very quickly. Chad Coleman still on the lead lap, which means this is not over yet.
Yeah, this is by no means not over here in this event, and well, I mean, a lot can go down, but Mojica's gonna restart where he started this event, and man, he is sitting pretty right now. He's got about 25 laps to go when he gets the green flag, and
Well, Pedro, it appears as though everything's pointing in his direction. This title is attainable for him as long as he doesn't wreck and Chad Coleman wins the race, and that's going to tell you a lot's going to have to go Chad Coleman's way, like we've said multiple times here, if he wants to win the championship. But not saying it can't happen. We've seen crazier things, but it's going to take a lot here. So Pedro Mojica just wants to try to hang on to the win. Hopefully for him, that's what he wants, is the win. But if anything else, he would just like to obviously finish the race and get out of here with the championship. As long as he finishes somewhere where he can win the championship, I'm sure you won't hear too much complaining out of Pedro Mojica. But as the pace car leads him down the backstretch, we have 1 lap to green here, and we are getting ready for the final few laps of this season of Midnight Thunder.
Yeah, if he wins it, he'll leave a lot of fans disappointed that bought the little pit pass to go down to the Gatorade Victory Lane, because all he'll need is the championship stage. He'll be on the top of the board as we go back green flag racing. Do want to remind everybody under this caution flag to stay up to date with everything LSRTV online at livesimracing.com or Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracing. TV. Weidlitz, the challenger, up high. Mojica down on the inside. Stoops, Minson round out the next 2 cars on the row number 2. Green flag flies at a quarter number 4. Back at it from Homestead Miami Speedway. 27 laps to go in the Midnight Thunder season finale. Mojica dominant. Can anybody challenge the top 2? Have it sorted out. It's a brawl for what's going to be 4th on back now. The 86 car slow out of 2. Stevie Minson getting passed by 2 cars already.
Yeah, Stevie Minson is not heading in the right direction right now, as he is going to lose those 2 spots, like you said. That 86 machine is now trying to hold off the number 79, who is starting to make a run here. Josh Chin, 2-time winner of the season, wants to find his way to the front. Chad Coleman not going the way he needs to as well. And man, right now, lots of good battling going on here, guys, trying to find out what to do. Chad Coleman might make a daring move under that 79, thinks better of it, and will just keep it right in behind him now, as all these guys continue to race in a single file line here. And here we go. The number 17 really messed up there. Left Dwayne Vincent under him. Dwayne Vincent going to take back the 3rd spot after Tanner Stoops really messed up there on the outside lane. Here comes Stevie Minson trying to occupy the hole that right now the 17 is filling up. Clear is Dwayne Vincent, and while that 17's way loose once again, and he's going to barely hang on to it. Very bad moment there for Tanner Stoops. Could have got real ugly with Stevie Minson easily.
He'll hang on to it. It was a close scenario when you talked about how Dwayne Vincent made a move on the inside, because flying off a corner like that, somebody slow up against the fence, giving it a little bit more wheel, considering how loose these trucks are already. Dwayne had to do a good job of keeping all 4 underneath him. Now it's everybody 6th on back trying to get around him. Chad Coleman going to do it. Joshua Chin, the next challenger, the Canada entry as well. JDR Graphics on the back of that truck making the pass and the slide up in front after quarter number 4. So force that 17 of Tanner Stoops back to what's going to be P7 on the racetrack right now. Single file all the way through, and in front of them it's the top 2 who are trying to pull away in this. Still 21 though, car strong, I guess we'll say truck strong on the lead lap here, but really the only people that are racing side by side, that is whoever's trying to get around Stoops, because now the next challenger comes in the form of the 68 of Scott Simley.
Scott Simley is trying to find his way to the front here. Simley hasn't made a whole lot of noise. We haven't really talked about him a whole lot tonight, but man, he is trying to make his move here. Is now Tanner Stoops and Scott Simley race side by side. That 68 trying to get done down there with a lot of help from the 26 draft is however effective here. Stefan Marinac can't have an effect on him here. Now the 17 gets loose as well as the 68. Just to loose everyone is at the moment as they go down the backstretch here, and that will allow Marinac to get clear of that number 79 machine, 17 of Tanner Stoops. Stoops heading in the wrong direction, was looking pretty strong early in this one, as now all these guys just finding their groove and trying to get into it here. Stoops continues to race with Pick now. Pick is trying to take that one away. J.D. Laird sits right behind Jason Pick. J.D. Laird, disappointing run for him. He was running up front early, not running where he wishes he was right now. He's going to take a 3-wide up the middle almost, but he will not quite do that. And now he's going to try to get outside of number 53 as the 53 comes up the racetrack. Way loose as the 53 along with the 23. That's a whole lot of 3s getting loose there, as now J.D. Laird's going to make his move on the outside of Pick. Pick's just going to kind of let him have it, as these 2 will settle that out real quick. And well, we're coming just to 21 laps to go here, as now Pedro Mojica will take 21 laps to go in the Midnight Thunder series season, and it's almost over. They have a few laps left to decide it.
And it makes you wonder what happened to Tanner Stoops. 7th place car, gained positions on the opening stint and has only gone backwards, and he's done so in a hurry and continues to struggle with the handle on that race car. Now getting passed by Jason Pick, and that's going to keep Stoops now back in 12th position on track, losing significant time from where he was at the drop of the restart for our first and so far only American Ethanol restart, with only one caution so far in this race. 20 guys sit on the lead lap right now. Lucky Dog would be EJ O'Rourke. Scratch that. How about a pass for the Lucky Dog spot? Stephen Herring to take over that role. In the Fruit Loops, Kellogg Chevy, he'll take 21st. That's the first spot, one lap down. Harold Strayer now 22nd, and EJ O'Rourke is 23rd. Those are the three drivers one lap down that are off of the lead lap. 5 laps down, still on track. 24th is Jason Swan. Darren Brooks in 25th, though, and William Kemp in 26th. Going to get DNFs. They finished their race prematurely, and they are behind the wall. A very similar situation to what we saw on the opening stint. Mojica leads. Weidlitz trails. 72 car wasn't on the back bumper of the 01 right away. He was able to catch him. Harrison Weidlitz is stalking Pedro Mojica. We'll step away very quickly and once again go LSRTV side by side for the final time during racing conditions from Homestead Miami Speedway. Pedro Mojica trying to lock up a championship as well as take home what would be a 5th checkered flag. It's the JDR Graphics Toyota who leads in Dade County, Florida. Can Weidlitz anybody challenge him?
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks and terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month with some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. We're proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Less than 10 laps to go at the Homestead Miami Speedway, where this real sim racing Midnight Thunder Speedway Series gets set to come down to a close. It was a night of question if Mojica could defend against Chad Coleman. He's done more than that. He's been running all over him so far tonight. The 6th, the Challenger, entering 26 back, stuck in P5. Meanwhile, Mojica leads. However, Widelets may object to him taking his 5th checkered flag on the year. PD Swan Racing truck not all that far off. Really a 2-horse race at this point, unless we get a really late race yellow.
2 horses really left to battle for this one. I mean, Widelets has stuck with it the whole event, been really the only competitor to Mojica over the long run. I mean, during the short run, we've seen Laird and Vincent and all those guys really keep up with him, even at some point Stevie Minson, but it appears as though throughout short, long, and just the whole race combined, Mojica has no true challenger with the exception of Widelets, and Widelets is really trying to keep the gap close, and, well, Widelets will try to take home a victory here. Man, a victory would mean a lot to Widelets in this finale, and it's always great to end the season on a good note, but hey, he's going to have to get by the guy who's absolutely dominated this season, and that is our leader right now, Pedro Mojica. And it's just been a dominating season for him, but Widelets wants to get his next season started tonight on a good note.
And the 72 continues to trace the back bumper of Pedro Mojica. He tried earlier on in this race to try to make a pass, went to the inside and nearly ended up all the way to the inside. Got 15 degrees sideways, brung her back in, was able to hang on to it. Can he go for it, or will he go for it? Will he risk going to the inside one more time on the 01 truck? This time by 6 laps will remain in the Midnight Thunder season, one that has gone 11 races through and seen a handful of different winners. But Pedro Mojica, the staple of it all, has dominated this season when it comes to wins. Coleman has dominated the consistency. He's got a consistent run right now in P5, but it's the wins that appear that are going to make the difference as Mojica traces down what would be a 5th one, trying to finish this one off. Stevie Vincent really not all that much of a fight. Dwayne Vincent may try to get to him. That's 0.3 of a second between 4th and 3rd, but all eyes up at the front of the field where Pedro Mojica tries to go down swinging and take home a championship and a win at the same time. 5 circuits to go, that time at the start-finish line.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. These guys are ready to battle it out here from Homestead, Miami in the finale. I mean, he is right there as Harrison, right on Pedro Mojica. Mojica is trying to hang on to this win. He wants to preserve it. It obviously means quite a bit to him here, Evan, but Pedro Mojica wants to get the championship and the win. This all in one here as these two continue to race down the backstretch, and man, this has been a really good race, Evan.
And he's closing in again, 19 strong on the lead lap. Talked about the possibility of one more late race caution after this race probably could have gone green all the way, but it was a surprising yellow that flew just at the end, at the tail end of our green flag cycle of pit stops. Now that we get within 5 laps to go, a caution flag would effectively end this race if one were to fly under a caution flag condition. Going to be 3 laps to go this next time by. Widelets, Minson, Vincent, Coleman, Chin, Simley, Marinac, Laird, and Stoops throughout the top 10. A couple of fights here, a couple of fights there, but again, everybody trying to see if that JDRgraphics.com machine can put a staple on the end of this one and walk away a winner. Take 2 trophies home in one swing of it. One car going to stay down to the inside. Slow as Jason Swan. He's 6 laps down. He'll hit the pit lane.
Kane Pit Road as these guys coming around with 2 laps to go. Mojica leads right over Widelets, and oh man, Mojica gets a little bit loose there, but so is Widelets. These trucks are really loose late in these rums, and man, really hard to hang on to them here as we have just 2 laps to go now from Homestead Miami Speedway, and it's a 2-horse race. Who brings it home? Will it be Widelets? Will it be Mojica? I mean, Mojica has the championship basically locked up at this point. It's about racing for the win now. Widelets wants it just as bad as he does, and well, they're about to decide who wants it the worst here as they enter turn 3 and 4. This time by from Homestead Miami Speedway, we will see the white flag fly indicating 1 lap to go on the season, and man, what a season it has been. Widelets just going to have to give it everything he has in this last lap.
And how hard does he push it? If Pedro Mojica wrecks, you talk about the bonus points that he's accumulated for laps led, most laps led. He can wreck and he'll still win the championship. We haven't been able to bring the cameras to every event, but every Friday evening. And Harrison Weidlitz going to give it a little bit too much to Swan Racing Truck in the fence. He has enough room to defend for P2, but Pedro Mojica, 4 checkered flags entering this, just 1 race to go to secure it, and he'll do everything he needs to at a quarter number 4, checkered flag number 5, and the RSR Midnight Thunder Speedway Series Championship to Pedro Mojica. He will take home the 2015 Season 2 Championship in absolutely dominating fashion, winning that JDR Army number 01 Toyota Tundra in victory lane. Harrison Weidlitz, we asked how hard he would push it, gave it everything he had to a second. Stevie Minson rounding out your top 3, and as Mojica lets out a celebratory scream over the radio, he wins at the Homestead Miami Speedway and just about took home half of all wins on the season, dominating fashion. Chad Coleman with a P5 is able to maintain what was a second in the championship entering tonight, but it is only going to gain. And as the other drivers come by to congratulate the 01, very rarely can you come to a real sim racing series and dominate, but that's what that 01 team did.
Yeah, they dominated the season, dominated the race, and obviously dominated 5 races, gained the 5 wins in the season. Great job for Pedro Mojica, and well, he's well deserving of this championship. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him in the top 3 and more on LSRTV. Stay tuned for interviews and more. It should be fun to hear what they have to say.
He burns it down. Again, everybody comes by to congratulate as well. Bring that hardware out for this event to the championship stage. As they get that one rolled out, we'll step away for one final time on LSRTV. Our special coverage of not only the part 2 of our Friday night, Saturday morning doubleheader, but our special coverage of the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Speedway Series will conclude when we come back. The trophy presentation and more. Pedro Mojica is your championship. Stay tuned, the post-race show and the championship wrap-up on LSRTV from Dade County, Florida, coming up.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
Back live at the Homestead of Miami Speedway on LSRTV, where our coverage of the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Championship has come to a close. We're down on pit lane, but the driver that comes home in second, and that number 2 is very interesting because he made 2 shots at that lead earlier, went to the inside, did it work, and we knew he was going to dig for it, but he planted it into the outside wall, giving it everything he had. Harrison White lets you come home with a second place tonight in that number 72, but you were trailing that 01 at the start. You had to fight back to be able to get back there. That Swan Racing car was doing good, truck I guess I should say, but going through this, coming close, but Mojica, as he did for the majority of the season, just a little bit too strong. Walk us through your evening.
Yeah, Pedro in general, just way too solid. So first off, just want to say congrats to him on not only the win. I mean, he's won 4 or 5 of these. Not sure what his tally is, but and the championship. So congrats to him. For the most part, I was pretty comfortable. I really liked it. I was getting it loose a little bit on exit. It was really tight early on, and then once we would get a few laps on it, the bounce would just come in, and it would just rotate all the way from center off. So it was a lot of fun to drive. And I was hoping that we were going to get a chance to get that second green flag pit stop because I was hoping to maybe just get the lead again off of pit road, short pit Pedro a little bit, or and take 2. I was going to take 2 on that final stop, and I knew it was going to be hard to drive, but I thought it'd be good enough if he took 4.
And in the end, it's a second place, and you put it in the fence in 2, and you had enough of a gap that Stevie wasn't able to get you, but it was a solid run nonetheless, and running, the starts that you did in this, which totaled up to 9 exiting tonight, 9 out of the 12 races total, so almost a full season for you guys competed in this, but as well as some news, you guys going to be competing a lot more Monday nights as well with Real Sim Racing.
Yeah, actually, Pedro... Paul Cooper is bringing out a team. It's going to be himself and Pedro and Chad Coleman, and Chad's been doing a lot of subbing and getting some good runs for a variety of drivers this season. And so I'm actually going to be replacing Landon Huffman because Landon's been really busy, so I'm the 4th Stroker Aces car. So we're pretty much teammates for Midnight Thunder, but we're going to be competitors more or less on Monday nights.
Well, that only means that Jacob can't call you guys the super subs anymore, that you're going to be in there full time. We look forward to that. It was a solid run for you and the guys this evening as well, Harrison. We'll see you on Monday night, but before we let you go, anybody you want to thank?
Definitely want to thank JD Laird, JDR Graphics. He painted the truck in about probably 5 minutes. And for a 5-minute job, talk about incredible. Basically based off my last truck, which I loved. But got to thank him. Got to thank John Abbott for giving me the shot on Mondays, and Hippie's Paint Shop for stepping up for that, and Pedro for a great race. And congrats to him and all the guys that I raced all year, Dwayne Vincent and Chad Coleman, and just a lot of fun in this Midnight Thunder series. One caution, great race.
This one comes to a close, and we've seen that you can be competitive on Monday night, so congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you with some Full Throttle Cup action here soon.
Thank you.
That is your second place finisher, and as the championship stage gets set up, caught up with the driver that comes home P2 in the overall championship battle. We knew it was going to be an uphill climb that Chad Coleman had to fight against, just could not get the dominant car, and more importantly, could not get a mistake at a Pedro Mojica that he would have needed. PDJ Zeller, you've caught up on the pit lane, the car P5 tonight, but he comes home second in the championship. You're with Chad Coleman.
I'm caught up here, Chad Coleman, and Chad, what a season it was for you. You had your win, and obviously a whole lot of things to overcome the season, but in the end, you just came up a little bit short. Take us through your race tonight, and I guess your season specifically. Obviously, a lot of things went your way, and then one little thing in the end just quite didn't go your way here tonight.
Yeah, as far as like the season and everything goes, go ahead and get that out of the way and just say congrats to Pedro. He's really good. I've known him for a while. I knew it was going to be tough to beat him, especially after we had issues at I believe it was Kansas. We got wrecked pretty good there and got knocked out of the race. So that was a big turning point in the season for us. But yeah, again, just congrats to Pedro. He's good. And the race tonight, I hate Homestead. I'm not a fan of Homestead. The setup drove actually really good. I like the way it raced, but I struggle at Homestead, so I'll take 5th. Everybody that finished in front of me is pretty good at here. So, yeah, that's about it.
All right, and well, looking towards next season, do you think maybe you can contend for the championship again and maybe this time beat Pedro?
Yeah, that's the plan for now. We probably do this again next season. I don't know if I'll be able to run all the races because of real life stuff, kicking off in summer, getting, summer arriving and everything during the season. So if we all decide to run all the races and everything, then it'll be about the same cast you've seen up front in the race tonight and up front in points, right there battling each and every week.
All right, well, before I let you go, who do you think? Who makes it happen for you in the number 6 crew?
With this truck and everything, I got to give a shout out to Jeremy Enoch at EGR Graphics. He painted this truck for me, and but everything else, just shout out to everybody on TeamSpeak, and just again, congrats to Pedro.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Good luck next season, and thank you for joining us.
Yep, thanks guys.
All right, down to the championship and race winning victory lane where the champagne is flying, and so is Pedro Mojica. Evan Pasoko is caught up with the champion.
We're down. They have pulled the championship stage out here on the front straightaway of the Homestead Miami Speedway. We're going to turn the microphone over to Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder Series Director Steve Herring. He's down and he'll present this championship officially to Pedro Mojica.
Well, on behalf of RSR, all the admins, the drivers, I'd like to congratulate Pedro on the 2015 Season 2 championship. Well deserved. I think he had 5 wins on the season. Consistent top 10s all through the entire length of the season. So well deserved, and congratulations.
Of that, a strong finish, and I'll turn the mic over to you.
Thank you, Evan. On behalf of everyone at RSR, the admins and the drivers, Pedro, congratulations on the 2015 Season 2 Midnight Thunder Championship. It was well-deserved. I think you had 5 wins on the season, and you clearly dominated it. It was well-deserved, and congratulations.
I appreciate it, Steve. You guys at RSR do a great job running the league. Midnight Thunder was a lot of fun this season. I'd like to thank everybody at Swan Racing. Those guys are the ones who got me involved into this league in the first place last season. Told me about all the good races, a lot of the green flag runs and pit stops that were involved, and a lot of clean racing. So that really dictated me running the full season this time. Started off a little bumpy, but once we got in the feel of things, definitely started clicking off some top 5s and wins, and was able to just be consistent week in and week out and get away from Chad and win the championship.
And we're going to slide in here, Pedro. Unfortunately, and although the fact that we gave it to you twice, you only get 1 championship out of this, but it is your 5th win this evening at Homestead, and make it our job a lot easier because if you need to go down to victory lane, you take home both pieces of hardware this evening. A series that runs 12 races long. Not a lot of time to, come back from any mistakes. And Steve said it, you guys were so consistent tonight. Started up front, had a couple of people challenge you from the back, especially Harrison Weidlitz. Took a peek to the inside early, tried it again late, didn't quite work out. The 01 was strong from start to finish tonight. It was strong from start to finish on the season. Would you almost say that tonight was kind of a representation on how this 2015 Season 2 campaign went for you guys?
It definitely was, especially barring no issues with either race incident or self-induced mistakes. We stayed nice and smooth. Definitely would run up front in all the races, and definitely could lead a bunch of laps and be in contention for the win. And really, there's probably 2 or 3 races where I could have won, and instead I either made a mistake or was caught up in a wreck. But fortunately, that was only 1 or 2 races. And the rest of the races I either won or finished in the top 5, so that the consistency really helped. And racing people like Chad Coleman, who also ran the full season, you have to be consistent because we're looking at his history. He is Mr. Consistency. So you have to be consistent, but also have to try to get wins in order to beat him.
And it's exactly what you guys did. And now, though we close this chapter on Friday evenings, or again for everybody on the East Coast, very early on Saturday mornings, and we're thankful for everybody for hanging in with us on our special broadcast this evening. There's a lot going on outside of Midnight Thunder. You got Cup, you got trucks as well, and you have Xfinity Series all within Real Sim Racing. We talked to Harrison Weidlitz before you guys got all set up here about his plans moving forward with the Full Throttle Cup Series as well. We're hearing some exciting news out of your camp.
Yeah, Paul Cooper approached me and Chad and a few other guys about starting a Monday night league or a Monday night race team, and I said sure, I'd definitely be interested. It seemed like there's a good group of guys over there, real competitive racing. The A car seems like it's pretty fun to drive. So I told him, yeah, man, I'll definitely be, if you don't mind giving me a ride, I don't mind racing for you. So excited to do that and be a part of that league in RSR and get to compete with those guys over there and mix it up a little bit.
Although it will be difficult to do, you can still qualify for the championship in that if you get a win and you get up into the top 30 in points. These trucks that we're talking about, the new trucks, they've changed from the old trucks, so that's something that you had to adjust to. Now going forward, being so competitive in this kind of a vehicle, what do you think is going to be the major thing that you're going to have to work on when you go into the Monday night races? They're a little bit longer, and you're going to be out there in those cup cars. What's going to be the biggest growing pain maybe for you?
I think the biggest thing is that probably a little bit more competition in the races for sure. Everybody will be running more equal times. So definitely qualifying will be of a very, very important. Got to get that all-important track position and start up front, and I think that's half the battle in itself. And pretty much with the races being longer, you got to be patient. Don't be too aggressive in the beginning of the race, and then just position yourself towards the end of the race to either capitalize, get a top 5, or even a win.
Well, that's the exact balance that you struck not only tonight, but in the 11 races prior. Pedro, congratulations from all of us here at LSRTV on your championship. I know you mentioned a lot of them. Anybody else you want to thank from the championship stage?
Again, just Steve, you guys at RSR, you guys did a great job with the league this season. I think the methodology to run this league is a great method, and you should keep on doing it. Everybody at Swan who got me involved in this, I appreciate it. I had a ton of fun racing against them and all the other competitors in the season. Definitely a lot of good competitors that I got to race against. And then just, family, wife supporting me. That's always a big thing, so thank you to her. And praise the Lord, man.
Well, again, we congratulate you on your championship. We congratulate you on your win as well tonight. Although, we weren't able to have the broadcasts every single week, we're glad we had this opportunity. You put a staple on it. You're the winner. You're the champion. Congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck. I'm sure we'll be hearing some more of you on Monday nights.
All right, thanks, guys.
That is your champion, and you talk about Steve Herring, somebody that makes things run here at Real Sim Racing. He handed out the hardware to Pedro Mojica. PDJ Zeller, you've caught up with him. He's the director of this Midnight Thunder series.
I'm caught up here with Steve, and Steve, man, I just have to ask you, what's it like for you to run a series that obviously means so much, so many drivers?
Well, really, you hit the nail on the head, Petey. It is all about the drivers. We've got a really, really good group here. This is supposed to be the fun series. It's very competitive, but the guys really have fun, and I try and keep it as loose as possible. But the quality of the drivers that I've got for this season has been absolutely fantastic.
I mean, what's the future looking like for this series?
Well, we've been averaging well over 20, 25. Some nights we've had over 30 drivers in this thing. We're going to keep it the way it is. We're going to try and keep it to the larger tracks and keep it as fun as possible.
All right, Steven, well, what are your thoughts about this past season that was obviously very exciting for many drivers?
Actually, the two things that stood out, actually three things, is one is the way Harrison Weidlitz conducted himself throughout the whole chase and through the whole season. The guy was always up there. I think he missed one race for family reasons or something, but he had one heck of a season. Chad, he was very consistent, but he wasn't as consistent as Pedro, and Pedro just showed he was the class of the field this season. It was clear by race 5 who the driver to beat was.
Steve, as well, we've talked to a lot of the drivers, Harrison Wiles, Pedro Mojica, a lot of these guys that you see not only run this evening's events, but as well on Wednesday nights alternating. Big news rolling forward into this next sector of racing on our 2015 racing campaign is you now have guys going from this truck series that have run for a championship in this, and almost like the real world racing ranks kind of graduating, and now they're going to be competing full time with teams in the Full Throttle Cup series. It's got to be cool to kind of follow that same trend that a real world racing career would do.
I agree, Evan. I'm really excited about Harrison, Coleman, and Pedro joining the Full Throttle Cup. Most of them, all three of them, are very patient drivers, aggressive at times, but they're very patient. And I think that's a lot what you need in Full Throttle Cup to survive to the end. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they do.
Well, first off, we want to thank you and everybody at RSR for making this possible, because you guys put in so much time. But everybody thanks you. Is there anybody that you want to thank for helping you out put on such a good show?
Yeah, Evan, I've been around with you guys, LSRTV, through RSR now for probably over 2 years. And you guys are by far one of the best broadcasting companies around. When we talk to other people, they say, yeah, we're just as good as LSRTV. I think you should take that as a huge compliment. The admins at RSR, specifically John Abbott, who basically said, listen, Steve, I can't stay up at midnight on Fridays anymore. You handle it. He kind of lets me do my own thing, and I can't say enough about the drivers who let me do my own thing. It's been a great series.
Well, doing it that way has led to exciting racing and has led to a very exciting championship. So, Steve, again, thanks for taking a moment to talk to us. Thanks for everything you do. We hope to see this Midnight Thunder series, as well as everything else Real Sim Racing, continue into the good future, and we're glad to be a part of it as well.
And we hope to have you back a few times next season.
I'll echo those thoughts. Hopefully we'll be out here a couple more times.
Thank you, guys.
That is the league administrator and the director for the Real Sim Racing Midnight Thunder series, Steve Herring, who can come down to this one. And he handed out the championship. Pedro Mojica, solid. Harrison Weidlet, solid. Chad Coleman, solid. All the guys that ran here, they're going to be competing in Cup full-time on Monday. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see them move over to the Full Throttle Cup Series on LSR TV on Mondays. Be sure to check that out. Mojica will probably be something special over there, and will develop his talents even further. Should be really cool to watch. Mojica, a good driver throughout all of iRacing. Keep an eye on him. He'll be something big in the future.
We'll give you the full field rundown from Homestead Miami Speedway before we step off. Pedro Mojica, not only your winner tonight for the 5th time in the 2015 Season 2 campaign, but as well your champion. Harrison Weidlitz started second. He'll finish second. Stevie Minson with a great night, up 6 spots to finish in third. A P4 to Dwayne Vincent and Chad Coleman rounding out the top 5. A P6 to Joshua Chin, Scott Simley in 7th. 8th to Stefan Marinac, J.D. Laird in 9th, and 10th to Robert David Ballantyne. Continuing on through 11th position is Tanner Stoops, Paul Nicholas Cooper in 12th, 13th is John Abbott, Brian Harvey in 14th, 15th position to Cody Gibson. Anthony DeBarro could not recover from early race issues. He'll get a 16th, 17th to Richard Beasley, 18th to Jason Pick, and last car on the lead lap in 19th was David Gibson. Stephen Herring and Ed Williams Jr. would come home 20th and 21st, 1 lap down. 3 laps down in 22nd was Harold Strahler in 22nd, and 23rd would be 7 laps down Jason Swan. E.J. O'Rourke and Darren Brooks, along with William Kemp, would all finish behind the wall. Before we sign off, again, unfortunately, weren't able to have all 12 races, but we do want to thank RSR for extending the invitation to us, and we brought the cameras out late. We want to thank everybody for staying up with us on our Friday night / Saturday morning doubleheader, we'll call it, PD. A good championship. You got drivers in this truck series now progressing to the Cup series, something that you see a lot in the real-world NASCAR ranks. We roll forward now. Still a lot more Real Sim Racing to come on LSRTV.
Yeah, obviously a lot more, and a lot more LSR TV to be brought to you, so keep tuned. I mean, a lot of cool series to watch. I mean, with the iCars once a month, and Ice River Speedway every Friday, Cora on Sundays. That's coming down to the end here in a week or two. So yeah, just keep your eyes open. LSR TV is still on the rise with the series.
RealSimRacing.com for all your information on RSR. Again, Monday nights, you got Full Throttle Cup. Wednesdays, alternating with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing TV and the Outlaw Truck Series. Also, again, you said it, stay up to date with everything LSR TV online at LiveSimRacing.com or Facebook.com/LiveSimRacingTV. Do want to again note that we're happy to announce that LSR TV is the proud primary sponsor on Matt Boosa's number 34 Gale Force Racing Toyota Camry in the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com. Make sure to cheer him and his team on this coming Tuesday at the Pocono Raceway for the next race in that championship. As well, something that we're trying to push here at LSR TV to look forward to for all post-race recaps, news, and other press can be viewed through our partners at Race Chaser Online at racechaseronline.org or through iRacing News at iRacing.com/iRacingNews. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, congratulations to your 2015 Season 2 RSR Midnight Thunder Speedway Series champion, Pedro Mojica. A lot of names you heard tonight. Got to get used to hearing them on Mondays as well. But until we bid you goodnight from the Homestead of Miami Speedway, on behalf of the broadcast crew throughout our whole doubleheader tonight, myself, Emma Pasoko, PDJ Zeller, and Laura Lawson, good night from Homestead. Real Sim Racing back at it. We'll see you Monday night only on LSR TV.